Soda Mizushino is an ordinary high school student. He goes home to work on his own manga, but he gets lazy and decides to take a break and watch the anime Elemental Symphony of Vogel Chevalier on his iPad. Suddenly, something happens. He got BSOD. Strange things happen as he gets sucked into the anime's world. He is now caught in a fight between Silesia Upitria and Gunpuku no Himejimi. He notices what is happening before his eyes, which are also repeating on his iPad. Silesia saves Sauda from Gunpuku's attack, causing them to return to Sauda's room. Silesia is stunned in this alien world as she threatens Sauda for an answer. She is further shocked when he explains that she came from an anime that is adapted from this manga. Gunpuku visits them and tells them that she is not from Silesia's world, nor is she from this reality. She wants her to come with her, but Silesia refuses. It begins a wild night chase as Silesia hijacks a car while trying to outrun Gunpuku. When Silesia and Gunpuku finally clash swords, the latter tells of this world, which is the land of gods and where dubious creators throng. Silesia gets assistance from Meteora Osterreich from Avalkin of Reminisce. Gunpuku retreats for now. Silesia thinks Meteora is also in the same circumstances as her. They need to talk about what is happening. Soda returns home the next day to see that Silesia and Meteora are in his room, and the three of them go out to buy a snack for Meteora. Meteora describes a bit of herself and the world she comes from. They then discuss this world. If they were created by the creators of this world, they needed to go find them and exert their influence over them so they could return to their world. They also talk about Gunpuku, who seems to be trying to make the story worlds collide with the land of the gods. They are unsure of where she comes from. First, they try to contact the creator of Silesia's story, Takashi Matsubara. At the mall, Takashi meets Silesia. He doesn't jump at the chance to meet this perfect cosplayer of his character. Their meeting is interrupted by this magical girl, Mamika Kurumki, from the anime Magical Slayer Mamika. She also got word from Gunpuku about this world that has the power to help people in their worlds. She will not forgive that kind of creator, but since Silesia isn't from the same viewpoint as her, Mamika gets upset and transforms. Then they started fighting. There's a lot of damaged buildings the way Mamika is shooting magical beams at her. Mamika realizes too late the damage she has caused since Silesia was injured, because nobody gets injured in her world. Silesia lectures her about their different worlds. Silesia gets back up, panicking Mamika. Before she could unleash her next magical blast, it was stopped by Yuuya Mirakuji, the main antagonist of Hisaku Underground. Mamika is taken away by a knight, a Lysoteria February of a Lysoteria of the Scarlet. The rest talk to Mirakuji to learn how much he knows. He seems to know a lot, as he too was being told and brought here by Gunpuku. But unlike the rest, he is not interested in finding his own creator because he believes he isn't some god and just an ordinary person. If he does see his creator, he would like to ask some questions, but that isn't his priority. Staying true to his character, he goes off by himself to start fights to entertain himself. Takashi brings them to his home and calls Marine, the illustrator for Vogel Chevalier. Meteora wants to test how much is needed for the creators to affect the creation. Matsubara tries to write up a new spell for Silesia, but nothing happens, so Marine has to sketch a visual of it. Silesia is shocked to hear spoilers for her own story. Since she came out of the anime, the story has not caught up to the manga. Once Marine is done, Silesia tries to activate it, but nothing happens. Matsubara and Silesia end up arguing, so Meteora notes that if Silesia is able to dispute with her creator, it means Matsubara has created a highly detailed world of Silesia. Even if this experiment fails, Meteora at least knows there is another factor that affects them. In addition to a lack of information or seriousness, discovery can be considered progress. Sauda thinks, as Mirakuji said, that he appeared because he made a lasting impression on others. Marine suggests she could pull some strings for them to tour the publishing company, Titan Digitalsoft. They published Avalkin, and she had done character designs for them before. Marine offers Silesia and Meteora to stay at her place. Gunpuku talks to herself about meeting Sauda again, and she never thought he would be involved. She notes that he is a part of the world that banished Setsuna and will always be her ally. Meteora visits the company that developed Avalkin of Reminisce, only to learn her creator passed away in an accident a year ago. After playing her game overnight, Meteora, content that her creator put great care into crafting her world, shares her theories on Gunpuku's objective. Noticing that the supernatural abilities that come from their respective worlds conflict with the laws of physics in the real world, Meteora predicts that if more creations appear and cause disorder in the real world's common sense, the fabric of reality may be destroyed as a result. Elsewhere, Elicitaria questions Gunpuku after her own attempt to get her creator to change her world also ended in failure, while also making friends with Mamika. Later, Takashi receives a call from Masoki Nakanogen, scenario writer of the Infinite Divine Machine Mono Maja Mecha series, who informs him that both the main character, Rui Kanoya, and his giant mech, Giga's Machina, have appeared at his house. Nakanogen experienced what Sada went through when the anime character came through the screen. Only this time, a giant mecha came out of the TV. As they sit around to discuss things, suddenly, the military surrounds them. Kanoya is ready to get into his mecha action, but Meteora pleads that they will cooperate and go with them. They are taken to a special council headed by Eki Kikuchihara. First, she apologizes for the violent manner in which they handled this situation, but there's a reason for it. When strange radio interferences were detected, they started noticing strange characters with strange powers popping up. There is CCTV footage of Mirakuji fighting a guy with a gun blitz talker at the park, and the damage is extensive. After confirming Mirakuji's creator, Kikuchihara has her men find and arrange to take him into custody. An author named Guy Takarada who went to the police to seek protection because he felt his life was under threat. However, Elicitaria barged into the place and kidnapped him. He is Elicitaria's creator. His whereabouts are unknown, so that's why, when a large mecha popped up, they were forced to take extreme measures in fear of this. Also, there is footage of Meteora stealing taxpayer-funded military equipment when she first popped up in this world to fight Gunpuku. As nobody knows about Gunpuku, Meteora tells them about their theory of world destruction. Her suggestions are to reduce the damage and impact of this world and to find her creator. In order for the fictional characters to move about freely, they will be granted the necessary documents. The creators and their creations will all be under special protection. That includes Sauda. As everyone returned home, Sauda kept thinking about Gunpuku. There is something familiar about her that he can't put his finger on. Then he remembers a memo from someone he knew. Setsune Shimazaki. She posted that it would be her last news story before saying goodbye. As he searches around the internet, he finally, shockingly, stumbles upon something related to Gunpuku. Silesia drops in to report that they haven't made any progress in finding Gunpuku's creator. Sada can't find the courage to tell her what he's found. Elicitaria and Mamika are tasked with finding a new ally believed to have appeared in the area. They talk about what kind of person that new character would be. Speaking of which, Magaine Chikujuin takes a book without paying and claims it belongs to her. The shopkeeper stops her, of course, but after a series of lies, it allows her to summon a monster that kills him. Kikuchihara and Meteora are investigating this bloody sight. Based on the descriptions of eyewitnesses, they conclude she is a creation and of the villain type. Magaine bumps into Elicitaria and Mamika on her way back. Although Mamika tries to get her on their side, Elicitaria can sense she is not the good person Mamika hoped to be. They descend into an argument about killing others. Because Magaine points out that despite all the justice Elicitaria spouts, she is no different and could be worse. Elicitaria has had enough of her insults and charges at her, despite Mamika's objection. Luckily, Silesia and Meteora come between them. Meteora argues that fighting among themselves is what Gunpuku wants. She also corrects Elicitaria's flawed logic that this world is the gods and miracles do happen at least compared to her hellish world. With the conversation breaking down, Elicitaria attacks, but Silesia stops him. While Silesia has her hands full with Elicitaria, Blitz joins in and shoots down Meteora. Unconscious, he could have finished her had Mamika not intervened. She continues to block all his shots and feels the need to stop this madness. Otherwise, she will be too ashamed to face her friends when she returns to her world. Mamika is going to attack Elicitaria if she continues to resort to violence. More complications arise as Mirakuji drops in to continue his fight with Blitz. Mamika also tries to stop this, but gets her ass handed by Mirakuji. By the time Kanoya drops down in his mecha, Elicitaria takes Mamika to escape. Mirakuji hangs out with Silesia and others, as he believes doing so will allow him to face Blitz again. Silesia has done some research on Magaine. Created by Tenkyu Kurikuma and from the novel Yasukiraku, her power stems from words via deception and lies. They fear a person like her walking around and killing others. Mirakuji makes the interesting hypothesis that the characters who came here have changed, as though they're finding a new purpose. Speaking of Magane, she is at her author's home and has killed him. On Sauda's side, he has discovered Blitz's creator and other information pertaining to him. So far, no other characters have appeared, but they are worried about Gunpuku as they still know nothing about her. They theorize that maybe she is not from manga, but anime or a game, but still none of the search descriptions closely match her. Soon, news spread that Kirakuma was dead. Next morning, Nakanogen has stumbled upon something important and calls everyone to meet. Except Sauda. He stumbled upon Mamika, and she wants to talk to him. Something about believing and doing stupid things because, in her world, believing is enough to give you magic. She is greatly hinting. If he knows anything about Gunpuku, please say. Nakanogen has found a site where doujin and amateurs post their works. Some go on to make it big. There is one that fits Gunpuku perfectly. Her name is Altair. Mamika believes she isn't gathering them to change the world and is planning something very bad. Sauda reveals that she is someone who hates this world a lot. More revelations about Altair include the fact that she is based on another character from another game. However, their looks and personalities all differ. Because Altair had better defined stories and traits, it diverged into another separate entity despite originating from the same base. However, trying to find Altair's creator yielded no results. Kikuchihara has brought other creators to help them. Shun Masuruga Blitz's creator and Ryo Yatoji Mirakuji's creator. Yatoji doesn't believe all this crap, so nothing but a bit of Mirakuji's display of real power can shake things up. Meteora meets up with Sauda to explain what they have discovered so far. She can tell Sauda is troubled. The more Sauda tries to hide it, the more obvious his burden is, so he tries to explain it from a third-person perspective about jealousy and envy. Meteora says those feelings shouldn't be denied and should be worked on. Pretend they do not exist, and they will slowly build up into filth. That made him feel better. Meanwhile, Mamika and Elicitaria have different opinions about the gods of their world. While Elicitaria isn't grateful for her hellish world, Mamika is because she is able to meet so many different people. They hope to believe in each other no matter what. Later, Magane pulls aside Sauda and mocks his date with Mamika, and then Meteora over what she eavesdropped. Then she hints about the very thing that he wants to hide. A certain someone who probably doesn't exist anymore. This is enough to cause extreme asphyxiation for Sauda. Magane doesn't intend to spread it, but in exchange, he has to date her. Mamika confronts Altair about lying to them. She feels her intention to destroy this world via revenge is wrong. Despite all that, she still considers her a friend who wants to save her. Altair admits she hates everything in this world. The characters, the stories. Because this world rejected her ally. All she wanted was a place to belong, but they humiliated her. That is why she will destroy everything. Mamika believes everything can change, like herself when she came here. Altair still will not forgive them. Mamika will show her that she can accept her sadness. She will save her soul in Setsuna's. The mere mention of her name sends Altair into raging madness. She summons her swords to stab Mamika. But Mamika isn't going to stand there and get killed. She used a magical explosion. Mamika survived the blast, but she started to bleeding like hell and had to collapse. It's where Magane is nearby. She's eking out Altair's plan to destroy the world when Elicitaria drops in and is about to clobber Magane. Luckily, Mamika has enough strength to pinpoint that Magane isn't the culprit and leaves it up to the liar girl to tell the rest. Mamika dies and disappears, and Magane is forcing Mamika's dying wish out of Mamika. Technically, she isn't lying but ambiguously rearranging her words. So she made it sound like Meteora was the one who killed Mamika, and Elicitaria believes her and goes off to find her. Now Magane calls out Sauda to meet. After all that teasing and harassing about the person he killed to make him feel even more guilty, she gets to the real deal. She wants him to tell Silesia that Meteora is working for the enemy to deceive them. Sauda won't believe a liar, so Magane shows proof of a bloodied Mamika's cloth. He is in shock over Mamika's death, but still refuses to believe her. So Magane hints at a few more things, and Sauda finally realizes it was Altair who killed her. This sends him into despair, which is what Magane wants. Then she makes it sound like he is responsible and the source for Mamika's death, which he really believes he is. Before she could cloud his mind further, Mirakuji showed up to fight her. Meteora picks him up, but he goes hysterical, revealing he was responsible for Setsuna's death. And now Mamika is dead too, because of him. Meteora offers some words to help him get back on his feet. Mirakuji's attack falls under Magane's spell. She is able to negate it, and that rewritten law sticks forever until she dies. His attack is now useless against her. Magane offers to team up to stop Altair, but they're not buying. Realizing they don't want to deal with her anymore, Magane warns Meteora that somebody else has a bone to pick with her. Speak of the devil, here comes furious Elicitaria. Mirakuji is covering for Meteora. Magane offers to help Elicitaria, which she declines. But they agree that Magane takes care of Mirakuji, while Elicitaria settles her score with Meteora. Magane tries to rile up Mirakuji by talking about his female spirit, Hangaku. Since he calls it a curse, she proposes that he give it to her if she finds a way to free him. As Meteora gets owned, Sada calls for backup and feels useless. He can't do anything. He sums up his courage to stop Elicitaria, who, in turn, believes he is the kind of person who views her world as entertainment. He denies all that, as watching her people get killed pains him. That is why seeing her fight brings hope to others, and they look up to her virtue. Elicitaria views herself differently, still considering herself a failure for failing to save Mamika. When Meteora wants to settle this via talking, Elicitaria isn't open to any conversation and attacks. Meteora pushes Sada away and bears the heavy brunt of her lance. Silesia drops in. Kikuchihara and the other special forces too. Silesia fights Elicitaria, but her sword suddenly turns into petals and she gets stabbed. This is what Altair's doing to further her plan. She wants Elicitaria to behead her, but since she is in shock, she has Blitz finish the job, but has to settle things with Mirakuji first. Kanoya, who is on standby in the sky, can't stand this anymore and drops in to fight, only for Altair to unleash a clone mecha to keep him company. With Meteora telling the humans to save themselves, Matsubara blows his top for saying such cheap lines. He will never allow his character to die like this. So he whips out his laptop and uploads a new story and marines new illustrations of her. In no time, it accumulates followers, likes, and is trending. Silesia then transforms into a powerful version. With Altair's powers weakening, she feels the stars aren't aligned yet and tells her comrades to withdraw for now. Once over, Silesia reverts to her injured circumstances and needs immediate medical attention. Magane is now in possession of Hangaku. Thank you for watching. I only cover 1 to 10 episodes. If you want to continue this anime, the anime name is in the description box.